we have a rapid-fire review of Rebels Season 4, Heroes of Mandalore. And beware, because there's definitely going to be spoilers. Okay, so in no particular order, things I liked. The music. The music was stellar. Pulled you right in, kept you in the moment. Absolutely spot on. The animation, especially all of the fiery exploding bits by all of the ships, it looked photoreal. Like, it looked like they pulled real fire and just kind of like painted it onto animation somehow through magic, and it was great. Sabine! Everything about Sabine. When Rebels first started, I thought Sabine was literally like, let's put a Mandalorian in the show because people like Mandalorians, I guess. And throughout the series, her arc has grown and grown, and I think she's arguably the most interesting character in the series. In the third season, I was really excited to find out that she was kind of leading the Mandalorians in a way, or at least that's what the show is going for, but it had me concerned that she wasn't going to be a part of the Ghost Crew anymore. But I actually really liked the resolution that they had here instead. Bo-Katan! Bo-Katan is another thing I liked. I loved how they were bringing in elements from the Clone Wars in so many ways. That show never really got to finish, and it's found a lot of closure in Rebels. Bo-Katan's character is great. She's the sister to Satine, who's a drastically important character in the Clone Wars. So, fun fact, Katie Sackhoff, who voices Bo-Katan, was in the 8th season of Fox's 24 alongside Freddie Prinze Jr., where they played a really awkward couple full of drama. Just as an aside. Bo-Katan leads me to the greater thing that I already said, which is I loved all the callbacks to the Clone Wars. I loved that we were on Mandalore, that we got to see more of that we got to see the clans come in, that we got to see what the plan is like in the wake of Maul and his invasion. It's really great to see all of these pieces actually find their conclusion, and to know that the creators of this show care enough about their content that they weren't going to let the Clone Wars just fall off the face of the earth, or outer space. Also, speaking of Kanan, I loved Kanan and Hera 5-ever. Their love is real and true, and if Dave Filoni denies me them together forever, their bickering is just absolutely great. Also liked that they started out with Thrawn right off the bat, but they didn't bring him into the story right off the bat. So this is the issue with bringing in Thrawn is so amazing, but he's so amazing that the Rebels can't win. But the Rebels can't win anyway because they can only really win at Scarif in Rogue One, but it's just not fun to watch the good guys lose a lot, and it's just been this like nebulous plot thing that Rebels has done. I have hard shadows on my face. And I thought this was a good way to juggle it, where you have Thrawn in charge, but his lackey isn't really that smart, but this win isn't really all that important because the Empire just loses a weapon that they didn't really have before anyway. The weapon! I love that it was called the Duchess. I love that Sabine used to be just a little Sith spit when she was a kid. All of this awful stuff she did, but she effectively did it out of angst. Again, I think it adds a lot to her character. And the weapon itself, I really like. Now, I'm not much of like a Mando fan. I actually have a long, complicated history with the Mandalorians, but I do understand them, or at least what this canon version of them is. And I get it. I get what the armor means to Mandalorians. It's a Mandalorian's specific set of armor is as important, if not more important, to a warrior as the lightsaber is to the Jedi. In fact, probably more important because the Jedi lose their lightsabers all the time, even if they're not supposed to. So the idea of this weapon that bakes the Mandalorians alive in their own in their own suit is terrifying, because a Mandalorian will never stop wearing their armor, even though it could be the very thing that kills them. And again, the part I liked the most was the ending. I loved that Bo-Katan gets a second chance at running the Mandalorians. I got chills watching all of the different clans swear support to her, and have her wield the Darksaber, which is another throwback to the Clone Wars, even though we've already seen it in the Rebel series thus far. You know, the whole thing was crafted really well. I thought the whole thing where we thought Sabine's family was all dead was going to be a little melodramatic, and then it was even more melodramatic when it turned out they weren't dead. But I actually think it played out really well. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is the pacing. The pacing of these episodes has been great. I honestly don't notice that the episode is about to end. So those are my thoughts on the opening. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to us here. Follow us on Twitter. Come join us on Port Haven. Also check the description below for some friends of Port Haven. Till next time, keep it real, fly casual.